Okay, there you go. Now it's recording. Hi, Zach.
Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? It's
I'm
good to
great,
see you.
thank you.
Good to see you.
It's great to see you.
So, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about your book? You want to talk about your transitions from one career to another? Because that's kind of what this whole thing's about is with people with AI, people are going to have to change jobs, and you've done it so well.
I don't know if I would go that far, but I've done it. Sure, the career change is helpful. The project, I mean, I can talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
It's
What's about,
mostly done.
tell me about your project.
Okay. Well, I guess they kind of bleed into each other. I had been laid off again by Lionsgate. This was the fourth time in my career that it had happened.
Well,
Um,
you got hired back all those times too,
yeah,
so that's something.
sometimes they would buy a company I was working at,
Ah,
and I would get absorbed back in. But
oh, you again.
yeah, it's most of the people involved with that were not really aware that they had gotten rid of me before and now had me again. That's just the nature of the movie industry.
Yeah.
But in 2020 was the last time I got laid off from Lionsgate, and it actually happened right before the pandemic began, and I kind of didn't really have anything to do, as stuck at home. But fortunately, my lovely wife has a law firm that is was booming and bustling. It's still booming and bustling, but it was paying all the bills, and I could rewind maybe 20 years, 25 years earlier, probably back to when we first met. There was a feeling that I had always had, which was I'm so vested and focused on helping filmmakers share their stories, whether it
Hmm.
would have been in home entertainment like DVDs and Blu-rays or television distribution, and then eventually into theatrical distribution, which I did a lot. I've released thousands of films for people. But there was always that nagging feeling that I didn't move to Los Angeles to help other people tell their stories. I wanted to come here and tell my own. And I got the bug through our mutual friend, Darren Davis. This was probably almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
At one of those points where I was laid off from Lionsgate but hadn't been hired back yet, where I started writing comic books for him. And they were terrible. I wasn't very good at it.
No, they weren't. They're not
I,
terrible.
when I look back on them now, I go, well, you've learned an awful lot since then. So it's Um, but I had a time where I didn't have anything to do, and I thought, well, maybe this is the opportunity to try and tell that story. And with an enormous amount of patience by my saint of a wife, I've almost ready to take it to market. We're, I think, just like a month or two away from self-publishing. It's very exciting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell us the title.
The title is, I keep going back and forth, but it's referred to as The Grange.
Hmm.
There was a subtitle for it. It was The Blood King.
Ooh.
But as I was looking at marketing material, it was just becoming too unwieldy to
Hmm.
say and have to explain what it all meant. So I went back with the Grange, and I think a fine aspect because it's the sort of the underlying thread in the story. But also it was fortuitous in that there really isn't anything else out there called the Grange, whereas the Blood King, there's tons of
Yeah,
those out
yeah.
there.
I like the
So.
title of The Grange. That's cool.
It stems back from the time when I was still in Pennsylvania. My mother and I had moved into this small farmhouse in this town called Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. And uh, while she was there, she ended up joining the local Grange. It's a collective of farmers within a community,
Ah.
and they buy feed and crops or livestock in bulk as a way of reducing costs. It's interesting that the Grange in that town owned the bull. There was a big dairy farming region,
Hmm.
so the town owned the bull because they didn't need more than one. It wasn't safe for that. But my mother ended up becoming an accountant for them, and I always look back on that time warmly, but there was always that sort of question of the sinisterness of the small town with all the secrets. And just to be clear, I everything was great. I don't know anything about it that would line up with what I wrote. I wrote something that was kind of in the horror genre. So
Well,
I keep trying to say this. Creatures are great. Don't look poorly in the fleet range. It's just sort of mirroring my own there.
yeah, well, that's your background at Lionsgate. You were in, they had so many horror films, it probably infected you a little bit. You're thinking maybe.
Definitely. Yeah, horror is a great genre for film. It's inexpensive to make and wide, very broad. Works very well internationally.
Mhm.
I'm hoping this will do the same thing.
So, yeah, you garbled up a little bit when you the
Oh,
sentence before. So
oh,
say
sorry.
that again. But
Um, yes, horror.
mhm,
Horror, it was a big genre for certainly smaller film studios. Definitely inexpensive to make, very broad internationally.
mhm.
And I'm hoping that my book approaches things the same way.
Can you tell me a little bit about the story?
Sure. A young woman, her name's Audra Pratt, 15. She and her father moved to a small town in Pennsylvania, specifically Fleetwood. They had been living in the Bryn Mawr area, which is right outside of Philadelphia. And about a year prior, her mother passed away from cancer. And he was directionless, so he uprooted her and him, moved them to the area where the mother was from. She was actually technically from a town next to it called Kutztown. And sort of as a way of resetting, their relationship is fractured. And as they are becoming members of this community, they're discovering that there are aspects of the community that are strange. There are a lot of mysterious deaths and disappearances. While this is going on, the father Audra is discovering that she
Oh,
has
you're garbling
some.
again. You-
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, it's something about the Mac is having issues. Give me 1 second, and I'm
No,
just
but
gonna
okay.
shut a bunch of things down to make it
Okay.
less RAM intensive. I've been having issues with it. I don't know why. Mac memory. Memory cleaner. Oh, I don't want that. I can just start over the synopsis if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
I hope everyone feels that way.
When you get it out, we'll put some do some little videos and give you some buy now links that you
Awesome.
can use.
I love the sound of that.
Mhm.
Let's see here. I got that. Did I close this? Let's close that one out as well. Yeah, there's something about my Mac that's been having issues with the audio. I don't know what it is, but it's frustrating. All right, so I will try that
That
again.
sounds good. Okay, tell me a little bit about the storyline.
Certainly. 15-year-old Audra Pratt and her father Kevin moved to a small town in Pennsylvania called Fleetwood. Within the past year, her mother had died of cancer, and their relationship became fractured. The father thought that this was a good idea to reconnect with their mother and find a way to heal the problems that they've been experiencing. It obviously doesn't go that way. And then along the way, they learn that the leadership of the town is less than kind in their activities. They worship an ancient being
Oof.
and make human sacrifices to the creature.
Wow.
Audra discovers that she comes from a long line of people who have what we best described as psychic gifts. And through the new family that she's sort of creating with her friends and distant relatives, they come together to stop the organization and the monster.
Wow. That sounds exciting.
I think so.
I think it should be fun. I mean, it's so funny that we always make these horror films in these really small towns when actually small towns are very nice. People are usually really nice. There's not a lot of nefarious things that go on in a small town, but it's our imaginations make us want to set them there. But it sounds like a really exciting story. I can't wait to read it.
It's set in the town of Fleetwood. I lived there for several years and I was very fond of it, but there is a gothic quality to it. It's
Mm,
all the farms, these big brooding buildings set off far from the road with fields of corn crops in the distance and lights. little light on here or there, and you're always wondering what's going on. And it gets very quiet at night, except for the train that goes through town at midnight, and
Wow.
there's one stoplight, and everybody's in
Wow.
everyone's business. It's your imagination can really run away with you.
That'll be a good setting for when you make the movie.
I, I hope someone will make the movie, and hopefully someone will read the book too to
Yeah,
make the
yeah.
movie.
That's great. So Zach, you and I have known each other for a long time. We met at Lionsgate.
Hmm.
Um, so you've had to do different careers over the past decades. I don't want to say how long. You've had to change careers. Um, with AI and all the things that are happening with technology, people are going to have to do that. So why don't you tell people a little bit about what you went through? Because you had to change careers
Hmm.
a while because of market shifts and technology changing and people stopped, buying DVDs when streaming came on and that changed companies. So people are going to have to change jobs because of AI.
Hmm.
So I want to part of this by storytellers is to give examples of people that have thrived even though they've changed jobs. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. Well, the entertainment industry, Hollywood, I began in physical production, which was when you were still shooting with 35 millimeter film or 70, depending on what you were shooting. And I moved into post-production where I started to deal with things like DVD. But I wasn't actually just completely starting in DVD. I was also doing VHS and even Laserdisc at the early days. And then, things started to phase out, and then DVD skyrocketed. That was probably the sort of like the pinnacle of my Hollywood career was that time, given the talent I was working with and traveling and the unlimited budgets because there was money was just flying in. Um, and then, Blu-ray took off, and then eventually physical media started to wane because of streaming becoming popular, and we were experiencing other shifts, theatrically specifically, because we were going from 35 millimeter to digital prints, which then was sort of in keeping with shifting from standard definition television to high definition television, and we've moved well beyond that to 4K and beyond. Uh, I would say that it was a mixture of things. Some of it was luck, because I would happen to be in the right place at the right time, and but a lot of it was also knowledge and perseverance and industriousness, because I would constantly be making myself invaluable to a company by taking on newer things and not being afraid of new technology, because why not?
Mhm.
One thing's working for a while, and then something new comes along, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but the more things you can have in your toolkit, the more valuable you become, especially at a studio where it's driven mostly by accountants and lawyers. They're not creative anymore. So it's how do you save them the most money? We're moving into a strange place where I feel as though the studio heads are looking at more and more ways to eliminate humans from the equation,
Mhm.
which is makes me sad.
Yeah.
Um, I see examples of using AI as a way of, well, we can take the movie that's been around for 30 years, but we can make a new version of it where it is, you know, PG instead of R, or we change the characters' names of the story, like we turn it into an animated version, and it's not them doing it, and it's not a person doing it. It's just a computer program that is cobbling something together that sort of sucks the life out of the thing that we all love. We all have memories, like, oh, we can all say like, oh, this is my favorite movie. I love that movie because it does this to me. It captured a moment in time and it moved me in a way. And there comes a point where executives at companies just simply look at it as a widget. It's
Yeah.
product. It's a thing that we're going to try to monetize. And it's frustrating because all the things that we love about it are irrelevant to the people
Hmm.
that own it.
Hmm. It'll be up to us to decide to stream or buy or watch things that are done by humans or AI. And
Right.
honestly, the things that have been done by AI just are not very good, especially the scripts, they're not very good. But it's going to happen. I mean, it's happening now already.
Sure.
There's going to be a combination. So it'll be up to us how much control we have over what we want to watch. I think that humans will still make good movies and good products. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be taking over. I mean, as a writer, I want to promote my books like you will promote your books. Okay. So you go online and you can add things on that make an AI video, and
Hmm.
then you're doing it all yourself. You're torn between wanting to hire somebody to draw everything and do
Sure.
or act it out or do all the voiceovers or but as an independent writer, we don't have the money for that. So
Sure.
we can go online, we can make these AI trailers ourselves.
Right.
And you like, is that bad? I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to put out a movie with AI, but I
Right.
wonder about promotion. As a designer, I use stock footage to
Hmm.
design, and then I use filters and Photoshop and whatnot to change it.
Sure.
So how much is good? How much is not?
Well, I mean, every piece of software that we might use, I'm sure maybe you're working with like Adobe
Mhm.
or they're now working AI functions into the software. They're sort of becoming embedded. But I'm always quick to counter and say, well, I mean, there was a fundamental AI component to spell checking. And
Mm,
I mean, that is the most basic version of like a large language model is spell check. Is I mean, it's just a database of words and does it match or does it not match? But I don't know. There's something to be said for making a movie where you make a movie and there's a crew because it becomes a collaborative
yeah.
process.
Hmm.
It becomes a thing where people are working together to make something better.
Hmm.
And even script writing as an example, right?
Oop, you froze up.
You're in the cast and everybody's giving feedback and you're polishing it, you're sharpening it, and sometimes it makes it better, but not always.
Hmm.
And turning it over to a computer program, you're going to get some positives, you're going to get some negatives. Um, but I think it's also a generational thing too. You know, you're still young and beautiful, but I'm an old man now, and there are generations that are coming that aren't going to know much more beyond what's on TikTok
That's true,
or,
yeah.
and that is AI generated content. And if you don't have the comparison, you're not going to care.
That's
It's,
true.
it's like with broadcast television. Most younger generations don't watch television anymore. So the idea that we're concerned with Stephen Colbert getting taken off the air in 10 months, it's like, well, the networks are losing so much money that it's at some point it's just going to go away and
Mhm.
not everyone's going to miss it. And that's kind of sad as well.
Yeah, I watch him on YouTube.
Yeah. We do. My wife and I do as well at lunch,
Yeah.
and you know, he goes somewhere else, we'll follow him to.
Yeah. You follow the personalities. So I guess
That's
that's what
right.
we can do is brand ourselves. Oop, the internet
Yeah.
connection is unstable. Brand ourselves so that and people so that we'll always have a job, I guess, if we brand ourselves and we can be humans in that way. Um, at least for a while until AI totally takes everything over. But
Oh yeah.
the world is changing. It's been interesting having to learn everything. I mean, it's like when we had to learn things throughout our career, you and I,
Sure.
there's all these different technologies you have to learn. Now we have to learn AI and all the things that are pertinent to that,
Right.
all the editing things and everything. It's kind of fun,
Right.
actually. And I love the people that are trying to help you learn, all the videos that come on and then people give you tutorials, some free, some not. But it's really sweet that everybody's trying to help each other learn because we're all in this together trying to learn a whole technology because the world has already changed.
Oh yeah.
We have to keep up with it, but we have to keep our sense of morality. And because collaboration, you're right, collaboration is something that is special.
Right.
And having all the different people come together and collaborate on something to make a better product is really, really enjoyable. And it gives a feeling to the project that you can't do with AI.
Right. I worked with, you know, basic software. There's certain software programs that I use, and there are the basic editing functions within it. But then I still hired human editors, to read it and then give me broad feedback and then come in and to like really polish it nicely and then go back and proof it again. Those are real people because real
Yeah.
people know what words mean. It's not just a,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the phrasing might not work with an AI bot, whereas a human would know different phrasings.
right. There's a strange formalness to a lot of the AI editing that
Mhm.
just doesn't match how the rest of us communicate. It's
Yeah.
you can tell, you can see when a human touched it versus when a computer just messed around with it.
Yeah, I would not hire an AI thing to edit my book. No, no
Right,
way. Of course, I've published books and then I still find typos sometimes because how many words, how many times can you see the word the and like, is that spelled right?
right.
It
The open
happens.
quote. I miss open quotes all the time. And it's like, how did I miss that?
Oh
Yeah.
well. So what else have you been doing, Zach?
Oh, what else have I done? The wife and I bought a house last year.
Oh,
We're in the Lake Balboa area,
nice.
and that's been an adventure. Being a homeowner for the first time in Los Angeles. I technically have a house in Pennsylvania, but I never really go there, so it's not really a thing. But so we got that. We just got a new puppy.
Oh,
Um, I've been working on a couple of other manuscripts. There's a screenplay I've been messing around with.
oh,
Uh,
good. You gave me my advice for Black Tide that I will always be grateful for
oh dear.
because, yeah, because, Black Tide was a screenplay that I had written, when I was in college.
Sure.
And it was based on like all this research, 20 years of research. And
Hmm.
it was way too much stuff in the story, way too
Sure.
much. It just would make people's eyes glaze over. And so you told me how to hone it, and you
Okay.
only gave me a few sentences, but it clicked and it
Hmm.
was great. And then I made the comic book that Darren helped me publish.
Okay.
And because of the comic book, you have to make sure that your story on each page is important.
Oh yeah.
And so it really helped me to hone the story and narrow it down. So, I have things I have a lot of backstory that I haven't published yet, but you really helped me. So I really appreciate you. You got me started in the right way. So
Well,
thank you.
thank you. I can't even remember the words that I suggested, but
Yeah, I can't either, but it was whatever you did, it was perfect. It just like it sunk in perfectly.
I'm sure somewhere in there is advice that I didn't follow when finished my first manuscript. Uh, the Grange, when I said the end, when I wrote the end, it was 183,000 words, and I don't have to explain to you. That's way too many words for a book. It's
Okay.
um,
Well, some books are thicker than others, you know.
right, but you're willing to invest that many pages in a Stephen King novel or a J.K. Rowling's book, even though people don't really care for her at this point, but it was painful because over 100 submissions to literary agents and over 100 rejections, and one of the reasons was it's too long.
Mm.
It's much shorter now, but like every word doesn't have to be your perfect child. It sometimes it's just you got to get the words out there because otherwise
Hmm.
you're what are you? You're a hobbyist. So you want to,
Yeah. I'm so glad you're writing your books. You have such a good imagination. I'm sure it's going to be excellent. And you've got such a history with movies. Working with Lionsgate, who I think is the best. I love Lionsgate.
I'm
Um,
I'm very fond of a lot of aspects of them, but I don't know if they're going to be around much longer.
Uh, Hopefully. Well, we'll see. We need more content, better content. Anyway, but you've seen so many movies that, so it gives you, like I have, I used to market movies too. So it gives you an edge. So, you watch them all fast forward and you can figure them out. But I'm sure that your story is going to be really top notch because you have such a background in good stories.
I'm trying, I'm hoping if I can touch at least one person, and I mean that in a, consensual sort of way, um, that's the thing is to someone picks it up and feels something when they read it, even if they hate it.
Mhm.
I'll settle for that. I mean, you put the time and effort into reading it. Let me know how you feel. It's
That's good.
uh,
A friend of mine, Chad Dulac,
okay.
um, he's a steampunk fantasy novelist,
Okay.
and he did a an arc, like he did a whole promotion the right way. So
Sure.
he, oops, sorry, he told us, one sec, it's off. There you go. Okay, anyway, he told us how to do a okay, Chad Dulac. He told us how to release a book the right way, where you
Okay.
get readers, ARC readers,
Sure.
to review it. You set a pre-order date, you
Hmm.
do some promotion beforehand, you do the email blast and all that. I'll
Sure.
send you his information because it really was helpful. I'm gonna redo all my books. I'm gonna my books are published 20 years ago. So I figure it's time to republish them, right?
That sounds like a
So
plan. Yeah,
yeah.
I've been dipping my foot into learning about all of the steps, finding ARC readers and coming up with a marketing plan. And that I will confess that I did hire a small company using AI to look at my manuscript and then give me suggestions on how to market. Because marketing is nothing that I know anything about and never really wanted to know anything about.
Mhm.
So it's like, oh, hey, here's some suggestions, and then like, okay, I can work with that because now I can build off of that and see how it would look on the outside.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you should. So I think people would like your book. It's neat. So, okay, one more thing. You started something new on Instagram.
Ah,
You want
yes.
to talk about it or no?
Sure. I was actually thinking about this before we jumped on. I started a website called Big Action Democracy that is primarily set up through social media sites, and it's essentially is a meant to be a civics lesson for individuals who might get information and news off of social media. There's definitely a bias to it, but at the same time, there's a lot of I can cite all of the sources that I've pulled data from. And it kind of spans the gamut on how government works and the history of the Supreme Court. And I think I'm going to be going out to the Reagan Library next week to shoot a series on how Reagan impacted the modern political scene. But it was a way for me to deal with I don't want to say the hopelessness, but the frustration I was feeling given these past few months,
Hmm.
how the Democratic Party doesn't feel like it's leading, and the guy in the White House seems like he doesn't have our best interests in mind.
Hmm.
So I sit in front of a camera and talk about something.
Well, you're always a very thoughtful person, and I've seen your posts, and they all are just very informative, thoughtful information. It's not skewed one way or the other. It's just information, facts that would help people.
Sure.
And I love that you're thoughtful about that because we need that. I mean, everybody's kind of worried about their next day, right?
Right.
And we can't rely on government or corporations or daddy to take care of
Right.
us anymore. We need to rely on ourselves. And so you give information that is very helpful to people.
Yeah, and I've been a bit nervous about that with the impending book launch because I know there's a school of thought of don't try not to offend your potential audience, but this is who I am, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm being honest about that. And if I'm going to cut out a large swath of potential customers, there's a good chance they wouldn't have liked what I was writing anyway. So,
Yeah, I
and I,
don't, yeah, you're a good guy, Zach. So I don't see anybody getting offended by what you are saying on your channel. I think your information is just very good information.
I won probably the one that I was most passionate about was how there was a decision to defund the Trevor Project.
Oh yeah.
I had been a crisis counselor on the suicide prevention line for a number of years, and we covered the Trevor line during that time. And to think that someone would be offended that we would be wanting to help this community, kids that are dealing with who they are, fundamental nature of themselves, it's just like I couldn't control the energy in me. It was made me so angry that he would do this. But there's so many other things going on. It's like, where do you start? So I'm trying to give younger viewers an opportunity to just hone in on one little thing and a very basic step on what they can do to make a difference. And we're getting some traction. It's not growing as fast as I had hoped, but
But that's important to people can take one step and do something that will help their lives. Just one little step. That's all we can do. One
Yeah.
foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, I hopefully will see you soon and your
Please.
lovely wife. Let's
Thank
maybe
you.
have lunch one of these days.
Sounds great.
Okay. And in the meantime, call me anytime. And when
Okay.
you're ready to do your book launch, I'll send you some videos and things like that you can use. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. You take care.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Let me turn this thing off. There we go.